One reason I like to interview people like Brian Moore and other candidates who are not from one of the two mainstream parties, not that John McCain and Barack Obama are coming on the show anyway, but it's nice talking to people like Brian Moore because they actually tell you what it is they really think and why they're actually running for president and what they would actually do if they were elected president. And there's no point in threading the needle if you're running from the Socialist Party USA, which is what Brian Moore is doing. He's running for president from the Socialist Party USA. Thanks very much for joining us, sir.
Well, thank you, Colin. I appreciate the invitation.
So let's begin. I mean, the word socialist gets slung around a lot, and I'm on a station that has a fair amount of conservative talk radio on it, and they call everybody that they don't like a socialist, and
exactly.
they call Barack Obama a socialist. And I know, that makes you laugh because Barack Obama is nowhere near close enough to being a socialist to make you happy, right?
That's correct.
So what is a socialist? What makes a socialist a socialist?
Well, the socialists really want to redistribute the wealth. We want workers and citizens in the local community to make the policy decisions from the ground up and have a more equitable lifestyle. And right now, the wealthy and those that inherit the power and wealth control everything, and we want to shift and transform that structure.
It goes beyond that, really, into the whole idea of social ownership of business, right, and worker control and production for use instead of profit and stuff like that?
Correct, right. We base the production of services and products on needs and not on wants. I mean, the capitalists basically try to promote us to want everything in the world and consume everything and spend money, even when it doesn't contribute to the welfare of the person or the ecology.
Now, in some ways, some of the things that you would be running on would be kind of I mean, I think that might be a little bit hard for the average talk radio listener to wrap his or her mind around. A lot of the stuff you are campaigning on is easy for them to get their minds around. Opposed to the opposition to the Iraq War, the Patriot Act. You're in favor of a single-payer national health care system, stuff like that, right?
That's right. Right. Immediate withdrawal of our troops. Universal health care, which includes medical, dental, and mental health comprehensively to all citizens. Guaranteed annual income, and transferring the control of the corporations to us.
I'm going to stop you there with a guaranteed annual income, because this is kind of an interesting idea. Explain what you mean by guaranteed income.
Well, the people should have a basic level of income so that they can lead a decent life, and that means disabled people, homeless people, elderly people, as well as citizens who are working for a living. We want to be able to have a quality of life for everybody to share in the benefits of our society, and the money is there. It's just that it's not distributed equally.
You're talking about $10,000 per family per year, right?
Pardon me?
$10,000 per family per year? Is that what you're talking about?
No, we're talking about $35,000 per adult individual.
All right,
but I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't work for a living. You have an obligation to work. If you don't work, well, then you're not rewarded.
Right.
But people have an incentive to really make more money under socialism because they share in the profits. So the quality of life will be much better for them.
Yeah. I should point out that the idea of a guaranteed income, a guaranteed floor income for American families, was also proposed, or at least talked about, by the great socialist leader Richard M. Nixon. Nixon actually had this whole idea. I mean, it's a pretty radical idea. He also was much more radical in the area of health care, really probably than any president who's come after him, or any presidential candidate from a major party who came after him. But actually, he did have this idea of he thought there should be a minimum income. There should be some kind of floor.
Oh, darn! I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, you might. I mean, it's just for your own curiosity. You might do a little research on it. It's kind of interesting, though. I mean,
he does surprise us with different actions. I mean, China negotiated too,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, how many ballots have you got? How many states are you on the ballot?
We're in Vermont and Colorado, and we're expecting by the next week or two to be on 6 other states, Tennessee and Louisiana. Most of the deadlines for the states are, thank goodness, early August or early September. My own state of Florida, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arkansas. These are states where the requirements for signature are 1,000 to 2,000 signatures, so it doesn't make it so difficult to qualify. but we in no way can we come near Illinois or Texas or California. They want 158,000 signatures.
Obviously, your candidacy follows the footsteps of Eugene V. Debs and Norman Thomas. We've had prominent people run as socialists in America before. Given how many states you're not on the ballot in, what's the purpose of a candidacy like this? Why do you do it?
Well, 100 years ago, Eugene Debs and company promoted and advocated child labor laws and women's suffrage, workers' compensation, unemployment insurance, Social Security, Medicare. All those things came to fruition with Franklin Roosevelt 30 years later, or women's suffrage in 1920. But they were advocated by the socialists and other minor parties. So, and they opposed the World War I, which was based on gold and profit. So they were right and vindicated because many of the things that they've advocated have come to fruition, and we feel the same will occur today.
So you think, for example, maybe a single-payer national health care system might be one of the ultimate things that you wind up helping bestow on the American public if your candidacy gets noticed? Correct,
but it's we emphasize a national health plan for everyone, which does not include the phrase single payer. Single payer is an avenue to that, and that's our first goal. But we want to go beyond that to be able to offer health plan to all Americans, all citizens, even illegal immigrants, and based on a minimal tax. Right now, we pay about $600 billion of profits to 1,600 for-profit insurance companies, and we have duplications and unnecessary paperwork and a lot of exclusions. So all those hang-ups would be eliminated, and we'd be able to use that money to give health care to the 40 or 50 million people that don't have health care now.
Yeah. By the way, I just took the word single payer from your candidate questionnaire on votesocialist.org. So.
Well, I did have it there initially. I apologize. I thought we removed it all, but I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, I mean, look, I agree with you on that one. I actually think a national health care plan is the way to go. And if you don't get everybody in one pool, none of these other things ever works. I mean, we just went through this in Connecticut of having, a pretty interesting bill that would have expanded health care coverage. But ultimately, if you're not covering everybody, you haven't solved the problem. And if you don't get everybody in the same pool, the rich people and the poor people and the sick people and the healthy people, you're never going to fix the system, and you can't even control costs that way.
Yes, and we have so much resources, and we have enough money to solve our problems, but we never allocate accordingly. It's this philosophy of self-interest and getting ahead, on the backs of other people, and it's a very selfish, non-communal type of attitude under capitalism. And look at how we're failing, and I'm fearful our economy and our society will collapse before we're prepared to transition into a new economy.
So, Brian Moore, we're out of time, but thanks very much for joining us. Are you going to be on the ballot in Connecticut, or do you not know?
No, we'll be on as a write-in candidate.
Yeah.
Connecticut is one of the states that has a higher signature requirement, which 15,000 signatures, which we don't have the resources to achieve because 15,000 really means 20 or 25,000.
Yeah, because you got to qualify them. Well, you should call Secretary Weissowitz. She's a very accommodating person. I'm sure she can work something out for you. Thanks for being with us today.
Okay, thank you.